Magic Tree House, Day of the Dragon King by Mary Pope Osborne. Chapter 3 The Silk Weaver. Jack and Annie kept walking across the pasture toward the road. Annie stopped when they neared the farmhouse. "We'll have to find the Silk Weaver and give her the message," she said. "Let's do that on our way back," said Jack. "I'm worried about finding the Imperial Library." "What if we don't have time?" said Annie. "We promised, and he was so nice." Jack sighed. "Okay," he said, "but let's find her fast. And remember to keep your head down so no one will notice us." Jack and Annie bowed their heads as they headed toward the house. As they got closer, Jack picked out from under his head. An ox pulled a cart filled with hay. Men hoed the ground. Women pushed wheelbarrows piled high with grain. "There," said Annie. She pointed to an open porch where a young woman was weaving clothes on a loom. "That must be her." Annie ran to the silk weaver. Jack looked around to see if anyone was watching. Luckily, all the farm workers seemed too busy to notice anything. Still looking around carefully, Jack walked toward the porch. Annie was already talking to the silk weaver. "What did he say?" the young woman asked. Her voice was soft but strong. Her dark eyes glowed with happiness. "He said you should meet him in the field at twilight," said Annie. "He's so handsome." "Yes, he is." The silk weaver gave Annie a shy smile. Then she reached down to a basket near her loom and picked up a ball of yellow thread. "It was very brave of you to bring the message," she said. "Please accept this silk thread as my thank you." She handed Annie the ball of silk. "It's beautiful," said Annie. "Feel." She handed it to Jack. The thread was smooth and soft. "How do you make silk?" said Jack. "It is made from the cocoons of silkworms," said the weaver. "Really? Worms? That's neat," said Jack. "Let me write that down." He reached into his sack. "Please don't," said the silk weaver. "The making of silk is China's most valuable secret. Anyone who steals the secret will be arrested. The Dragon King will have him put to death." "Whoopsie-daisy," said Jack. He dropped the ball of silk into his sack. "I think you must leave quickly," whispered the silk weaver. "You have been seen." Jack looked over his shoulder. A man was pointing at them. "Let's go," he said. "Bye," said Annie. "Good luck on your date." "Thank you," the silk weaver said. "Come on," said Jack. They hurried away from the silk weaver. "Stop!" someone shouted. "Run!" said Annie. Chapter 4 The Great Wall. Jack and Annie ran around the farmhouse. At the back was an ox cart filled with bags of grain. There was no one in sight. The shouting behind them got louder. Jack and Annie looked at each other, then dived into the back of the wooden cart. They buried themselves in the middle of the bags of grain. Jack's heart pounded as the shouts came closer. He held his breath and waited for the people to leave. Suddenly, the cart lurched forward. Someone was driving them away. Jack and Annie peeked over the bags. Jack saw the back of the driver. He was calmly steering the ox cart over the dirt road. They were on their way to the walled city. Jack and Annie ducked down again. "This is great," whispered Annie. "All we have to do is jump out when we get into the city." The city here. "Yep," Jack said softly. "Then we'll find the Imperial Library, find a book, and get back to the Magic Tree House." No problem, whispered Danny. Whoa! The cart slowly came to a halt. Jack held his breath. He heard voices and the heavy tramping of feet. Lots of feet. He and Danny peeked out. Oh, man, he whispered. A long line of men was crossing the road in front of the cart. They carried axes, shovels, and hoes. Guards marched alongside them. Let's find out what's happening, said Jack. He reached into his sack and pulled out the china book. Pushing his glasses into place, he found a picture of the workers. He read. The Dragon King forced many of his subjects to start building a wall to protect China from invaders. Later, emperors made the wall even longer. Finally, it stretched 3,700 miles along China's border. The Great Wall of China is the longest structure ever built. Wow, the Great Wall of China, said Jack. I've heard of that, said Annie. Who hasn't? Said Jack. Those guys are going to work on it right now. Just then, someone grabbed Jack and Annie. They looked up. It was the driver of the cart. Who are you? He asked angrily. Jack didn't know what to say. The man's gaze fell on the open book in Jack's hands. His mouth dropped open. He let go of Jack and Annie. Slowly, he reached out and touched the book. He looked back at Jack and Annie with wide eyes. What is this? He said. What is this? We'll find that next time, okay? Did you like my story? Then push the thumbs up sign or the subscribe button. Bye. Thank you.